Ever wondered what would happen if your teacher showed up to class intoxicated? What unfolds when the role model in front of the classroom is caught in such a shocking situation? Today, we're about to unveil 3 astonishing cases where school teachers were found drunk. Our first case begins with an ordinary day at school. A teacher named Miss Jennifer Davis found herself in a challenging situation. It all began when she was approached by school authorities who had received reports suggesting that she might have been drinking alcohol before coming to work. The situation was quite tense, but Miss Davis agreed to talk and clarify the matter.
Some reports that we've received as late as this morning, and so she understands, and she said she'd be willing to meet with you and talk to you.
Okay.
But we want to give you all some privacy too. So is this a suitable
Yeah, this is
place?
fine.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll just step out here.
The school administrators, along with a police officer, decided to have a private conversation with Miss Davis about the allegations. The officer began by asking her how she was doing, trying to establish some rapport. Then, they delved into the reason for the meeting: the reports of alcohol consumption on school premises. Miss Davis calmly explained that she had not been drinking at school, and the last time she had a drink was the previous night at around 10:30 p.m. She mentioned that she had consumed just a glass of wine, nothing substantial. The officer then proposed that Miss Davis undergo a series of tests to determine if she was under the influence of alcohol.
What I'm going to do first is I'm going to check you for HGM. Okay, this is what we call standardized field sobriety tests. Okay. There's 3 of them. I'm going to pretty much focus on the first one, which is horizontal gaze nystagmus. I'm going to have you take your glasses off, and I'm going to have you, we'll stand up when we do this, but I'm going to have you track my
I am
finger.
so blind without him, I can't hardly see.
Can you see something like my finger?
He started by explaining the first test, known as the horizontal gaze and nystagmus test, HGN. The officer moved his finger horizontally in front of her eyes, and she was instructed to follow it with her eyes only, without moving her head. Nervousness was evident, but she followed the instructions as best as she could.
Okay. All right, this is what we call our portable breathalyzer machine. Okay.
Yes.
You don't have to take the test. Okay. But this will show the presence of alcohol if there's any on
7.
board. Okay.
After the HGN test, the officer introduced a portable breathalyzer machine. He emphasized that taking the test was voluntary, but it could help prove her innocence if she hadn't consumed any alcohol that day. Miss Davis agreed to take the test, blowing into the breathalyzer as instructed.
As hard as you can until I tell you to stop. Big deep breath, blow. Hard. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Good. Good.
I don't even know what that
0.06.
is. That
You are just under the legal limit.
The breathalyzer results showed a blood alcohol concentration, BAC, of 0.066, which was just below the legal limit for driving. The officer explained that even though she was below the limit, she was still considered intoxicated from a legal standpoint. He compared it to people who drink regularly and start feeling normal at that BAC level.
how do you think to drink today?
Okay, well, I'm gonna let Mr. Let me ask you this, is there anybody that can come and pick you up here at the school?
Yes,
Okay.
but I mean, I don't.
However, Miss Davis insisted that she had not drunk anything that day, and the officer acknowledged her statement. He offered to let someone pick her up, but she needed to discuss it with the school administration first. The officer then had a conversation with the school administrators. They discussed the options of allowing her to resign or making an arrest based on the situation. They ultimately decided to proceed with the arrest due to a zero-tolerance policy.
If I had pulled you over, I'm gonna be honest with you, you'd have been arrested for driving under the influence.
Okay, that's what he was explaining.
Yep. Okay.
Can I have somebody pick me up?
Well, I've got
Please.
a legal obligation, okay? You're here. entrusted for the care and safety and the for the
I
teaching of these kids.
understand, but
Okay. No, today you're going to be arrested for public intoxication.
Miss Davis was informed of her impending arrest for public intoxication. She expressed her frustration about the situation and asked if she could know who had reported her. The officer explained that they couldn't disclose the identity of the person who made the report.
Alarm. Call.
Jennifer, if we want to go ahead and take care of the letter here, there's one that's been drafted for you if you prefer to write one. That's fine. Get you to sign it and just put today's date on it if you're agreeing with that. It's the 7th.
As she was being taken into custody, Miss Davis was concerned about the impact this incident might have on her job and whether it would become news. The officer assured her that they would handle it discreetly and that their primary concern was following their policy and procedure. In the end, Miss Davis was led away by the officer, her belongings were searched, and she was headed to the jail, awaiting a bond hearing. The uncertainty of her future and the potential consequences of this incident weighed heavily on her mind as she left the school premises. Miss Davis's alcohol level was only 0.066, but our next teacher, whose name was Kimberly Coates, has alcohol level of 0.24 BAC, which is far more than legal limits. It all unfolds when she was observed by someone who noticed that something seemed off about her. This concerned observer decided to call in Officer Dean to have a chat with Kimberly. They wanted to make sure she was okay.
Just observing you in the classroom, it looks like something's off a little bit. And so I've asked Officer Dean to come in here and visit with you. Have you taken anything that's, do you have a prescription for anything that maybe you have taken today that just seems like you're not the same person that I talked to this morning?
Officer Dean began the conversation by asking Kimberly if she had taken any medication or had a prescription that might explain her unusual behavior. Kimberly admitted that she had taken some medication the previous night to help her sleep due to her anxiety issues. However, she couldn't recall the name of the medication at that moment. She assured the officer that she hadn't taken anything while at school.
So you haven't taken anything while you were at school? No. Now, one thing I would tell you is, for your employment, I want you to be truthful.
Okay.
And so, would you be willing to take a breathalyzer test?
If I needed to, yeah.
Officer Dean then asked if she would be willing to take a breathalyzer test to check if she had consumed any alcohol that day. Kimberly agreed to the test and explained that she had also taken medication for her anxiety that morning, which she identified as Quozapin. The officer inquired if it was a prescription medication, and Kimberly's response seemed to change. She admitted that she had taken one the previous night and another that morning. Officer Dean explained the importance of keeping prescription medication in its original bottle to avoid legal issues. He emphasized his concern for Kimberly's well-being and the safety of the students. Kimberly's behavior was notably different, prompting the officer to suspect that she might have consumed alcohol. Kimberly denied drinking anything at school but admitted to drinking last night. She mentioned having a hard time with depression. Officer Dean then administered a breathalyzer test, which Kimberly reluctantly took.
I mean, I am having a hard time with some depression stuff, and
Did you drink something while you were here at school?
not while I was at school
When did you drink something?
last night.
Are you gonna blow double zeros?
I don't know.
You should know. If you hadn't drank anything, you should blow zeros. If you drank something recently, it's gonna show it. We'll just run it. You should know. Makes me think that you are not going to.
Okay, so what's going to happen if
I'm not gonna do anything with you.
Well,
Okay.
I'm asking Mrs. Bowles.
Well, I'm just gonna be honest, Kimberly. I'm concerned about you. I have a responsibility to take care of the kids.
Right.
And it's not gonna be my decision.
It's my decision. So let's see what happens.
All right.
All right, so you're gonna blow into it like you're blowing up a balloon, okay? And you're gonna keep blowing until I tell you stop. Until I tell you to stay. Until I tell you to stop, okay?
All right.
I'll give it just a second.
I don't know how to do this.
You're just gonna blow into it like you're blowing up a balloon as soon as I tell you to. All right, ready? Take a big deep breath. Blow, 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 blow. All right, stop. Good job. You gonna tell me the truth? How much you had to drink?
I drank last night.
There's no way you drank last night.
Well, I did drink last night.
Did you drink at school? Is what he's asking. Tell us the truth.
I didn't drink at school.
That wouldn't blow that right there.
You blew 2 times the legal limit.
I did.
Yeah.
Here's our drink that you have. What's in this drink?
That's a Diet Coke.
Is there anything liquor in it?
Nope.
The results showed that she had blown a blood alcohol content, BAC, of 0.24, significantly above the legal limit of 0.08. Kimberly seemed surprised by the results. The officer asked her what she had been drinking, and Kimberly stated that she had consumed wine. She had drunk half a box of wine bottles last night, but claimed not to have drunk anything today.
Am I gonna get fired?
Honestly, yes. Or you can resign. You're under the influence at school with kids. Like, come on.
I did drink a lot last night.
How much did you drink?
I don't. Too much.
What do you drink?
Wine.
So how many bottles of wine did you drink?
We had the box.
Did you drink a whole box of wine?
Half a box.
However, Officer Dean remained skeptical because of the sudden change in Kimberly's demeanor. He suggested conducting the test again with a different straw to verify the results. Kimberly agreed, and the test still showed a high BAC. Officer Dean expressed his concern that Kimberly might have been drinking while at school, given the drastic change in her behavior. Kimberly eventually admitted to drinking wine on her way to work that morning. Officer Dean decided to arrange for someone to pick her up because she was not in a condition to drive. Kimberly was worried about the consequences at her workplace, and Officer Dean explained that her fate would depend on the school board's decision.
Okay, you got 1 minute. Tell me a number we're going to call, or we're trying to let you at least have some dignity and not walk out of here in front of everybody.
No,
So if you'll let us call somebody, we'll wait. They can come, wait outside. Everybody's gone. We'll tell them to be here at 4:30, and you'll be able to leave the building without anybody seeing. But if we don't have time to sit here and keep doing this.
No, I understand. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be. I don't mean to be like that. I'm sorry. I'm trying to. So if we call somebody to come and get me, so then what happens after that?
Then you're going to meet me tomorrow at my office, and we'll discuss your appointment.
Kimberly was instructed to meet with Officer Dean the next day at 9 a.m. and was allowed to call someone to pick her up. However, her phone was in her classroom, and she couldn't find the numbers. The situation escalated, with Kimberly becoming increasingly upset.
Okay, I drank on the way to work.
I'm glad that you told us that. Okay, we'll still discuss tomorrow.
I went to work here. I went to work here.
So tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Now let's call somebody and have them pick you up.
No, I can't call my husband.
Do you have anyone else you can call?
You have a friend that can come pick you up?
I don't know.
Officer Dean was insistent that she needed to call someone for a ride to avoid getting arrested. Kimberly's distress grew as she realized the severity of the situation.
Okay, no more games, right?
Yeah.
Other than that.
My juice.
Gonna try again? That there is wine.
I thought that was from yesterday.
Did you drink it up here yesterday?
Well, I brought it from home.
She pleaded for a chance to call a friend. but Officer Dean ultimately placed her under arrest due to her earlier lies and the evidence of alcohol consumption. Kimberly's emotional turmoil continued as she was handcuffed and taken into custody.
Please, I'll call somebody. I have somebody right here in town that will
Nope.
come get me.
Too late.
Please,
What's your date of birth, Kimberly?
please, just let me. Can we?
Hey,
just work
I'm
this-
not doing it. I'm not doing it. You had your chance to be honest,
Well,
and,
I did.
and then you wiped this out.
But please let me. Please let me call.
I should charge you with tampering with evidence.
Please let me. Please
No,
let me call.
no, it is over. No more.
The observer's initial concerns had led to a chain of events that resulted in Kimberly's arrest for driving under the influence, DUI. It was a challenging and emotionally charged situation for everyone involved. Our last case does not involve school, but involves a school teacher who was driving under the influence of alcohol. Our story begins at around 2:26 a.m. on September 2nd, 2023. Officer Jesse Castellano with the Hoboken Police Department observed a disabled 2017 Honda Accord without headlights being driven in an erratic manner in the vicinity of First Street and River Street. He followed the vehicle until the driver stopped to pick up someone at 111 River Street. At this time, Officer Castellano activated his emergency lights to initiate a traffic stop. He made contact with the driver, who was identified as 24-year-old Nicole Tejada. As he began to interact with the driver, he noticed that her speech was slurred and he detected the odor of alcohol in the vehicle. Nicole told the officer that she was coming from Fat Taco in Hoboken and admitted to consuming a margarita in the hours prior. Based on her admission to consuming alcohol, Officer Castellano radioed for another officer to come and administer field sobriety exercises. She initially hesitated when she was asked to provide him with her license, registration, and insurance, but eventually provided that information.
This is a traffic stop. Conducting a traffic stop.
Right. So this is a traffic stop, but for what? For what?
Why am I stopping you?
Yes.
Okay, well, your lights are off. That was the first thing.
Okay.
I was following you. I was watching you drive a little
Yes,
erratic.
I saw you following me.
Okay, I was watching you drive erratic, so I'm conducting a traffic stop. I'm
So
asking you for your
I'm-
license, registration, insurance, please.
Castellano? Oh, that's cute.
Thank you.
Castellano, I am riding erratic because my friends are being ridiculous right now.
Okay.
So I am being a ridiculous erratic right now because my tracks are weak. I don't think you need all of my.
Miss, I'm conducting a traffic stop. I'm asking you for your license, registration, insurance.
But if I know.
Okay.
If my friends are police of East Lake County.
Okay, that means nothing to me that your friends are police.
I know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So you need
License, registration, insurance, because I'm conducting a motor vehicle stop.
Got it.
Please provide me your license, registration, insurance.
I will provide that. Right?
Thank you.
Within a few minutes, Officer Daniel Grossi arrived on scene to assist. Based upon their suspicion of impairment, the officers offered Nicole an opportunity to participate in field sobriety exercises. Officer Grossi started with the horizontal gaze nystagmus (HGN) test, and he noticed a lack of smooth pursuit, distinct and sustained nystagmus at maximum deviation, and the onset of nystagmus prior to 45 degrees.
Okay, you comfortable in those sneakers?
Yep.
I'll do 2 more tests for you, all right?
Definitely, no problem.
So, just listen to me. I'm gonna explain it and demonstrate it, okay? So the next test is the walk and turn test. Okay, so what I want you to do right now, we're gonna create an imaginary line in these bricks, okay?
Yeah.
So, straight imaginary line. You're gonna put your left foot down with your right foot in front, heel touching your toe, with your arms at your side. No, arms at your side. Left foot right foot in front, heel touching your toe. Don't start anything. I told you to just wait and don't start.
I'm not a model, so I don't
Okay,
know,
miss.
The second exercise was the walk and turn test. During the walk and turn test, Nicole did not walk heel to toe in a straight line turned in an improper manner. The third exercise was the one-leg stand test, and Nicole kept putting her foot down. Officer Grossi ended the test after about 10 seconds and determined that Nicole was under the influence. Based on her slurred speech, the odor of alcohol on her person, and her inability to adequately complete the field sobriety exercises, Officer Castellano placed Nicole under arrest for driving under the influence.
On your back. All right, you're gonna be placed under arrest for driving while intoxicated. You failed all my
Sir,
tests, okay?
I am not intoxicated right now.
You are severely intoxicated. That's why I put you through these tests.
Sir,
so we're gonna
I
make
know
it.
you-
Listen to me,
I
miss.
know you-
Miss, I want to make it nice and easy
Go
for
ahead,
you.
go ahead, go
We're
ahead.
gonna bring you right up the block to headquarters. I'm gonna read your statement. See if you want to submit to blowing in the machine, and we'll get you out of there in a couple of hours, okay?
Sir, I need you to understand that I'm not intoxicated right now. I'm trying to get my friends
okay.
home right
so
now.
I'm gonna put you on the machine, and then you can prove that on the machine that you're not intoxicated.
Okay, no problem, Grassi.
Her vehicle was impounded for a mandatory 12-hour hold under John's law. Officer Grassi and Officer Castellano subsequently transported Nicole to the Hoboken Police Department for processing. At Police HQ, Nicole read the standard statement for motor vehicle operators agreed to submit breath samples. Her alco-test results indicated a BSC of 0.17%, which is more than double the legal limit. After Nicole was processed, she was released to a sober adult, pending her court appearance after he signed the potential liability warning form on her behalf. Officer Castellano issued her the following summonses: operating under the influence, reckless driving, and failure to use lighted lamps. What would you do if you got in one of these situations? Tell us in the comments section, and if you like this video, then subscribe to our channel and share with your friends. Until next time, stay informed, stay safe, and stay respectful.